Season 3 playoffs, but I do think he's going to come back in full force, and this would definitely be the time to shine. That being said, maybe he doesn't. Maybe like it gets to him mentally. Maybe him being one of the younger players in the scene, he's not going to be able to kind of handle that pressure. But frankly, I think he'll be just fine. I think we're going to see a top form Octane because you got to think about who's going against as well. Kind of Goonjar is going to be on the opposite side of that role, and frankly, I think he is just going to be completely outclassing Goon.
Goon has had an interesting year.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say. Kind of game came out and everyone was like, okay, yeah, Goon can definitely hang, and then all of a sudden kind of fell off a little bit, to be completely honest, and now back playing again.
He took a vacation. He was gone for a little bit.
He's back now. That's all that really matters. And so far, have you guys seen him play?
I actually haven't had a chance to see this EnVy team play.
Chance, have you witnessed Goon play?
I've watched them in online scrims, and I saw their first match today when they were playing Citadel.
Okay.
They completely ran Citadel over, but I mean, King Jord was destroying JCap. Like all of them were playing phenomenally. You can't really like say one player. Like no one was doing bad when they were playing them. It was a high 3-0. But every single time you see him playing scrims, if Goonjar comes close to breaking even, EnVy wins. If he doesn't, if he has a poor game, they lose. To me, he's definitely the X factor. He is the most on the line.
Okay.
If he can at least go even, I think it's definitely going to be a competitive game, but it's on him.
Do I think Goon is as good as Aqua or Octane, the guys that left? Probably not.
No,
but
I would agree with that.
But I think this team, they have probably better teamwork, better chemistry. That these are guys who have been around the scene for a very long time. Goon's been in big matches before. Same with Cap. Jerd's been one of the best players in Europe.
Yes.
I guess like you would consider Looney like the
he's been an explosive player,
but he's been like great the whole year. So
right.
I think this is a team that is a little bit more humble. They're not going to like break under pressure. As where I felt the old EnVy, I felt like they just kept bickering back and forth between each other. I don't think that happens with this squad.
I think map number 1 really is going to set the tone in this series. We said it's a huge grudge match. Neither team wants to lose. Of course, a lot of the line in terms of the group as well, in terms of overall placements, who will ultimately come out with that number 1 spot, number 2 spot. But taking a look at this eLevate squad, the addition of Octane there just makes this team look so good, in my opinion.
They're absolutely scary. I would honestly be worried to go against eLevate no matter what team it is. They definitely have the capabilities, on paper at least, to take down any of the top teams. Now, they wouldn't have the edge going against an Optic Gaming or a FaZe or anything like that, but they could definitely pull off a victory, especially, again, if Octane can continue to play on top form as we've seen in the past.
All right, well, heading into map number 1, Matt, it's going to be a tough series, but I want to try and get your prediction of what you're thinking. Who is this series going to go to? Who wins this grudge match?
I think you probably see EnVy take this one into Game 5.
EnVy in a Game 5, really?
I guess you would kind of consider that a little bit of an upset, but I think EnVy in a Game 5.
Okay.
I think it either goes one way. I think it goes EnVy really close all the way to the end, or it goes eLevate blowout.
All right, Chance, your thoughts on this one?
The 2 hard points are going to be Detroit and Compound, 2 very small maps. That's where King Jerd is going to shine, and that's where Looney and JCap, I think, can both perform. So I definitely think the maps are looking pretty good for him to be able to pull off a win, because I do think that in all of the bigger maps, your solo, your retreat, that is definitely going to be where eLevate comes to shine. That's where Octane is going to flourish. So I do think, at least for the hard points, it is going to be EnVy with the edge, and they are definitely capable of winning the S&D. So I think overall for the score, I think EnVy wins 3-2, 3-1, but they're going to have to bring their A game to the table, because if not, eLevate is definitely capable of just running them over.
Honestly, I'm going to disagree with you both. I think eLevate's going to 3-0. I think this is going to be a very, very quick game in favor of eLevate. I think they still have. I'm actually usually right, just so you know. But they have that Octane AR. I think that's a great presence, plus the SMG aggression. It's going to be a great game. Detroit Hardpoint, map number 1, over to Puckett and Courage.
All right, thank you guys. Jumping right into it, we got Goonjar on your screen. Jack, you're going to be doing the driving here for this Game 1. And tell me a little bit about Goonjar. What have you seen from him throughout this year so far?
I mean, it's a guy who's had such a history in Call of Duty. This year, though, definitely some of his low points. Some of the teams he's been on, you kind of question, a lot of people saying, has Goon fallen off? Is this kind of where his career will go from here? Well, now back on EnVy. Heading into Black Ops 3, he wants to prove himself this event, show, hey, I can still hang with the best. I am still one of the best. Right now, this EnVy lineup coming off hot here in game number 1, up 19-1.
Jerd doing some work early on is finally going to be cut down. You see 21 points to just 2 from eLevate. eLevate's been kept out of this Atlas building. And you look at the kills, Saints off to a pretty slow start. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Octane brings to this team, though. He wasn't very happy playing with EnVy. Didn't see the success that he and Aqua expected to in Season 3. Jumping ship now. Wearing a black jersey alongside some other really young players. You got TJ, Slacked also in the mix. This team's got a ton of potential, but how far will they be able to go in this tournament? That's the real question, to be honest. I am shocked they are down this much after just 90 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. And really the big difference has been EnVy getting the kills inside the hard point. You saw Jerd already getting aggressive through that green alley. He was able to pick up the first few kills in favor of EnVy, and there's Looney again. A two-piece that, quite frankly, he shouldn't even have gotten. eLevate lets it happen. They're now down by 50 seconds. Beautiful setup from EnVy here, too. Yes, one teammate does die, but Looney is still there to hold the time. A flawless start from the boys in blue.
Looking through, and it looks like TJ is going to lead all players, 8 kills, and he's doing it with the ASM-1. Looney on that 4 streak on the rotation, but TJ and the crew set up here for eLevate in the garage. Hill is now rotated. Here comes the pressure, and eLevate desperately needing to score some points here.
Yeah.
Goonjar's going to pick up the first, Jerd the second. So TJ about to be flooded. Great shots avoiding all the damage, but he will be dropped slacked. Trying to rotate over, but not in time. EnVy just made that look so simple, Jack.
Oh yeah, and right now Goonjar was the player in Middle Atlas who was watching where the spawns came from. eLevate know exactly where this, or EnVy know exactly where the opposing team is coming in from. Now Jerd sitting with that ASM-1 watching that back ramp. He's got help coming out of closet. It looks like EnVy's gonna continue to lock this down, Chris, and we're only 2.5 minutes in this game, and EnVy's about to break 100 points.
Octane doing a really great job right now for eLevate, holding on to these spawns. EnVy finally cleaned out of the garage, but here comes the push. Looney jumping in. He's going to be cleaned up. JCap, last man standing, also going to be eliminated. So you have Saints with the 2-piece, clears the hard point. eLevate is set up. This is where the comeback could start.
Yeah.
About a 64-point differential, though.
EnVy continued to get those easy breaks. You saw it on Garage. You mentioned how, well, EnVy made it just look easy when flanking into that one with all 4 players. This time around, they do it again. Finally, some kills in favor of eLevate. But here comes another break. 2 players pushing in from EnVy. Jerd gets inside the hard point. He takes down TJ. Still a 1-minute lead for EnVy. And you heard the analysts say prior to this match starting, Chris, this is one they can see going all the way to Game 5. On the start of this one, EnVy coming out white hot.
Yeah, EnVy's looking to finish this one in 3 if they keep playing like this, doubling up on their opponents, shocking a lot of people here in the New Orleans venue. You look at the clock, plenty of time though, and we've seen so many comebacks in first hard points of the day. And we'll see, will we see another comeback here at this point? I'm looking through the numbers, and big props to Goonjar, man. He is silencing all the haters, 17 and 12. You got 15 and 11 from Looney as well. Getting a lot of help from Jerd there for the aggressive ASM-1.
Oh, this entire game is almost exclusively Goonjar versus Octane. And you can see right now, Octane 9 and 14, Goonjar 17 and 12. Both of them in charge of locking down the spawns for their teams, getting control of the middle street area. Really, Goonjar just doing what everyone thought he wasn't going to do, and that's outclassing Octane at the moment. Right now, EnVy still up by 100 seconds.
Saints has had some big 2-pieces, but overall, he is not killing as quickly as he is used to.
Yeah.
EnVy making it very difficult. Looney on the other side, inside the hard point. TJ will finally clean him up. So EnVy done scoring. eLevate able to get to 60 points, but it took them 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Saints trying to break in the front door, but it's going to be EnVy once again holding it down. It's Jerd inside. And I'm watching the map rotations, and it just looks like there's a little bit of panic coming from eLevate. Finally, they're able to be breaking back in.
Oh, yeah, and you can see TJ going to get that scrap time for your team. So through the first 5 minutes, and it's an 80-second game. Slang really isn't too far in favor of EnVy. Yes, they might have a couple extra kills, but once again, the kills on the rotation. Here's another example of it. 3 going in favor of EnVy. They did get early control. Finally, with the help of Goonjar and Jerd, they're able to lock it back down. EnVy doing a fantastic job of making sure that if we're going to rotate late, we get the crucial kills we need to make that sacrifice pay off, and it reflects in the score, still up by 80 seconds.
You want to point out, Goonjar slowing down a little bit. It looks like eLevate starting to find their footing. TJ's going to be inside scoring for the moment. Goonjar on your screen, nice wall bang, able to take him down. That's 3 straight kills now. EnVy continuing to rack up. Jerd's turn to do the damage. 8 captures though for Looney. Jerd right behind him for 6. You look at the other side, only TJ above 5 at this point in the game.
Yeah, and right now, EnVy just doing a better job of playing the objective for their team. Here you can see the spawns in control of eLevate. They're going to try to lock this area down. JCap gets the better of Saints, but then the kills going back and forth. You can see green control really going to neither team right now. Jerd trying to stay alive, continuing to play that hyper-aggressive submachine gun role for this team. He fits in so well with Looney. Really, you can count on both of them to always put up big numbers. JCap gets cut down. Kills in favor of eLevate. What was a 100-second lead is now just down to a little bit over 50 seconds.
Saints has caught fire, though. He was negative just a minute ago last time we checked in, and now sitting at +2. Every time I see him in the kill feed, it is a multi-kill. Looney charging in, picks up a two-piece of his own. Octane and Saints cleaned up their Slack Dancers back almost immediately, and we're down to a 50-point differential. 3 minutes, 11 seconds still to go here in game number 1 of the best of 5, the last one of the night. Probably the biggest match of the night for both of these squads here in Pool D.
Yeah, you can see JCap there, known for his stun grenades, actually stunned himself out, got himself killed there from a nade out of Jerd, but Octane was in a power position to the back of the map, and JCap just cut both players down, locked down the spawns for his team. This could be another perfect break from EnVy. They do it again on the garage hardpoint, Chris. When you break the hill that quickly, that is a massive point swing. eLevate should be able to get 20 to 30 seconds off that, but instead, EnVy have done it both times in their favor. They're back up to an 80-second lead and growing. Oh, I don't see eLevate coming back into this one at all.
Yeah, the world champion has taken over. He leads the lobby at 32 kills, 5 streak. Ooh. The 6-1 comes from the melee on Slack. Looney spawning out his opponents as he is able to rotate to the bottom. JCap knows where they're coming. All they need now is 26 more points. Just when it started to get close, EnVy explodes behind the world champ.
And you know, this is what you were talking about prior to this game starting, and the analysts were talking about this new lineup for EnVy seems like a team that doesn't really get angry. They don't get angry at each other, they don't get flustered. They're all veterans. They say, you know what, let's work together. We know that if we can just slow the pace down for a minute, regain composure, we can easily mount the comeback. They have the gun skill to do it, and it's reflecting in the score yet again. Still an 80-second lead. It's not over yet, but eLevate need to play these final minute and 40 seconds absolutely perfect. Look at Octane somehow staying alive.
Yeah, I was looking through, and Octane had a pretty terrible start.
Yep.
End numbers not going to be so bad, but you had JCap kind of taking him out of his power positions a little bit earlier in this game. They've just been knocking him off. Here comes EnVy. Looney and Jerd will break through. Jerd gonna get dropped. A little sloppy play outside the door. That's gonna put too much pressure on Looney. So eLevate not going down quite yet. 72 seconds remain on the clock.
It's still possible, but that's an example right there of Jerd when he sometimes gets too aggressive, hyper aggressive. It winds up not paying off. He tries to push out towards Green Alley, gets cut down with ease. Slack doing all he can to stay alive, almost found 3 there, but he falls. That scrap time will go to EnVy, and Chris, that will do it for game number 1. EnVy looking to close this one out with 250. eLevate doing all they can. Saints, unfortunately, too little too late with a 3-piece there. Game 1 going to EnVy, and you know, I'm not surprised, but I thought that it would be a little bit closer than this one. EnVy's been really far and away in the lead throughout this whole game.
I'm honestly really surprised.
Yeah.
EnVy, you know, you looked at this team after all of roster mania, after the season 3 finals. This looked like a team that just lost their 2 best players, at least judging by what went down back in Columbus, Ohio. But JCap showing why he had so much success earlier in AW's life, and why Looney was such a breakout player here in this title. 239 to 215. It doesn't look like EnVy's going to score much more. eLevate's going to make it look closer than it was, but EnVy had led this game from the very beginning.
And Chris, once again, the slaying numbers pretty even throughout the game, but every time there was a rotation coming in, EnVy got the upper hand on eLevate and they ran away with it, easily able to get that score up to what was a 100-second lead at one point. You can't forget that 5 minutes of this game, EnVy were far and away. You thought they were going to close it out easily with 250. eLevate did keep it close towards the end, but great stuff from Goonjar, man. 37 to 32, 1 capture, 2 defense. You might think he didn't do too much on the objective, but he did exactly what his role was needed.
Welcome back to the main stage, Goonjar. EnVy takes game number 1. When we return from commercial break, it's time for some search and destroy. Your map recovery.